Today we will solve a problem which is usually asked in interviews for software engineers at intermediate or beginner levels. So the problem statement is that we need to write a function which checks if a given string is a palindrome and returns true if the string is palindrome and returns false if the string is not palindrome. So first I will explain what palindrome actually is. So here we can see we have a string which is spelled A B B A. So if we read the string forwards or if we read the string backwards, it stays the same, right? A B B A. And if I read it backward, it's still the same, A B B A. And in contrast, I have another string which is A B B B and then double A. But if I read it backwards, it is A triple B and then A. So it is not same if I read it in a forward way or backwards. So this string is not a palindrome, whereas this string is a palindrome. So this is what palindrome is. So now we will write a function to solve this problem. First, we will solve this with a kind of knife solution, and then we will move on to the better solution. So if we look at this problem, we can see, like, let's say, let's take this example, string number 1. So if we say that this is a palindrome, so to check if this is a palindrome, we see that this is one string, and what we are comparing it with, we are comparing it with reading backwards, right? So what that backward string actually is, so we can say that backward string is actually this string reversed. So if I reverse this string, it will become ABBA, or if I reverse this string, which it will be ABBBA, right? So basically now this can answer that whether the string was palindrome or not. So if the original string and the reversed string both are same, then we are sure that this string was a palindrome, like in this case. But in this case, when I reversed the string, these two strings are not equal anymore. So this means this string is not a palindrome. So this is a very simple solution for this problem. So we will write a function and we will call it is palindrome. Make sure to name your functions properly. It will receive a value which will be this string, and then what we need to do is we need to reverse this string. So we can create another variable to store the reverse string. We will call it reverse value. In Python, if you want to reverse a string, there is a very good hack which you can do, and that is using slicing. So in Python, you can slice a string. So let's say I do this, right? So this means take slice from start of the string to the end of the string, right? So if I do this, it will return me the copy of this same string, whatever it is, right? But I want it in reverse order. So the slicing thing takes another parameter, another parameter after the colon, which will in which we can tell in which order do we want to take the elements, in which order do we want to pick the elements. So if I give -1 here, so this will basically return me the reverse string, because I'm telling it that it start from first index and up to last index, but at each index subtract 1 to move to the next index. So basically at the start it should have been 0, but it will subtract 1 from it, so it will be -1. And we know in Python we can have negative indices to start iterating the list from the end. If you don't know about slicing and negative indexes in Python, you can pause this video and check that feature out, and then you can come back. So basically this statement is reversing this string. You can reverse it anyhow you want, but this is one of the better ways to reverse the string. So now this reverse value will contain the reverse string. So now we only need to check that the original value and the reverse value are equal or not. So if the values are equal, we will return true, because it means that the string is palindrome. Otherwise we will return false. So this is basically the very simple solution of checking if the string is palindrome. So now we will call a function and we will test it. So let's say I pass ABBA to it, and let's see what it prints. Okay, so it is printing true, which is right. Now if I give it another string like this, so this is not a palindrome, right? So this should return false, and yes, it is returning false. So now we will move on to the better solution to solve this problem. Now let's say the interviewer asks you and tells you that you cannot have another variable to store the copy of the string. So now how we can solve this problem without using the copy of this string. So if we look at the strings, and so we can see a pattern here, that if a string is palindrome, then the first character should be equal to the last character, second character should be equal to the second last character, and if let's say there are more characters, third character should be equal to the third last character, and so on and so forth, right? So this can be the another way to think about this solution. So to implement this solution, what we can do is we will iterate through the items of this string, which will be the characters of this string. So let's say I say for ch in value, and now what I will do is I will compare the first index, the item at first index to the last index, the character at second index to the second last, and so on and so forth. So in fact I won't be iterating like this. I will use the range function to, because I need the I value, I need the index of the current character I am iterating. So I will use the range function, and I will use the length value to iterate. So I will say value length, like this will store the length of the string passed. This is the function len to get the length of any string in Python, on less or any iterable. So this has now the value length has the length of the string, and we will iterate until the from 0 to the length of the string. So now at each iteration I will see if value and I, like this will be initially this will be 0, so I'm comparing the first element, and now I need to compare it with the last element. So I will say if it is not equal to value of, so what we need to do is we need to use the length, and like if this has the length 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So this index will be 6, right? So value of the length is 7, and what I will do is I will say value of the length, I will subtract -1 because the length is 7 and the indices start from 0, so I will need to subtract -1, and then I will subtract I from this because I want to keep on moving backwards from end also. So at the start it will be 0, so value of length will be, let's say, 7 minus 1 6, and 6 minus 0 6. In next iteration I will become 1, so instead of 6 this value will become 5, which will be this index, and I will be here. So we will we will keep moving from the start, one step further from the start and one step backward from the end. So this is how it will work. And if these values are not equal at any place, we don't want to check any further, we will just return false, because if at least one of the characters doesn't match, this string is not a palindrome. So if this condition passes, we will return false, and at the end of the string we will return true. So now let's see what this function prints now. Okay, so we have misspelled false. Here it is. Okay, so this is printing false. It should print false. Let's test with this, and it is printing false. Let's test with the odd number of characters and see if it works. And yes, it is working. Let's say let's check for this, and yes, so this is working, right? So this is fine. So this is how you can check if the string is palindrome without using the copy of the string. One another optimization we can do here is we don't need to iterate over the whole string, right? We can just iterate to the half, because we know when we are at the half of the string, we actually have covered the last half of the string also, because we are also moving backwards. So instead of doing value of length, we can do value of length divided by 2. So this will be like half of the length of the string. So let's see if this works or not. Yes, false. Let's say it is this one, and it is false. Yes, and let's make it a palindrome. A N B. Now it should be a palindrome and it should return true. So this is basically the solution in which you don't need to use a copy of the string. So yeah, this is it for today. Best of luck for your interview. See you in some other video.